Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. First tonight, a huge blaze has turned a couple's home into a fireball in Sheffield. A woman inside the home fled to safety while her husband saved a prized possession.
An eruption of orange and black blasts through the 100-year-old home. It took firefighters an entire hour to bring the inferno under control. Timber throughout the structure fueled the tragedy.
Being all timber lined, it burned very fiercely. There was nothing they could do to save the property, unfortunately.
The blaze started in the kitchen, but what caused it is being investigated. Homeowner Brian was mowing the lawns when it started. His wife was in another room painting. A smoke alarm is being credited for buying her precious time.
Heard the smoke alarm going off, opened the door into the hallway, saw smoke, alerted her husband. He came inside and they saw flames in the middle of the house, but they were driven back pretty quickly by the intensity of it.
The couple did manage to save 4 vehicles, including Brian's pride and joy, his 65 Ford Falcon, rushed from the garage as flames gripped the home. 2 fire hoses at the front of the property gave the home its best chance of surviving, but with the house fully engulfed by the time crews arrived, focus turned to protecting neighbouring properties.
They become your priority. This house being fully alight, you wanted to protect the neighbours as best as you can.
The home is insured. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Months after plans for a travel bubble between Australia and New Zealand first popped, talks have resumed between the two governments. Tasmania could now be one of the first states opening to trans-Tasman travel, and there are hopes it could be up and running in time for Christmas.
After months stuck on dry land, Roaring Forties kayaking is finally getting back on the water.
We've actually just started again last weekend with the start of this school holidays to operate, so we haven't actually done anything since we closed down in March.
And with the possibility of New Zealanders heading to Australia before Christmas being floated by the Prime Minister, this tourism operator says Tasmania has a lot to offer.
If New Zealand does open up, I think it'll be a new market for us that may be quite beneficial, that will love doing adventurous things here in Tassie.
Here at the Hobart Airport, plans are underway to open international travel once again, but there are still puzzle pieces that need to fall into place.
We don't have permanent international processing facilities here, such as for inbound processing or even outbound processing. And we have been working with the Commonwealth to understand exactly what those minimum requirements might be.
It is exciting, but we'll temper our excitement because we won't be prepared to be supportive of such travel arrangements until our expert public health guides us.
What we're working with them on now is understanding exactly how we can achieve some temporary facilities to ensure that we can convert on this flight as soon as possible.
He's hoping to see up to 3 flights to and from New Zealand a week. But even with a travel bubble on the horizon, 2020 remains a challenge for our tourism sector. And today, another hurdle, JobKeeper scaled back.
It will definitely impact our staff with the smaller amounts, but we're also hoping that we can run more tours and start to operate as normal, which will hopefully provide them with extra income.
I could well imagine there would be some permanents or part-timers who may end up with either reduced hours or no job at all for some months.
Federal funding serving as a lifeline for many throughout the lockdowns, including here at St Albie.
100%. It was the best thing that could have happened. Obviously, we had to close for 2 to 3 months, so it benefited the individual, but it also benefited the business.
For now, happy to stand on their own 2 feet. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's Housing Minister is facing mounting pressure, with the Greens confirming it will once again attempt a vote of no confidence against him in Parliament. The call comes after Roger Yench was accused of lying over proposed changes to tenancy laws. Greens leader Cassie O'Connor has today written to Independent MP Madeleine Ogilvie and Liberal Speaker Sue Hickey, asking them not to gag debate.
Have that debate. We don't know whether or not the House has confidence in Minister Yench. We certainly don't, because we saw him tell a barefaced lie to the people of Tasmania through the Parliament.
Yesterday I wrote to the Premier Peter Gutwein asking him to uphold his own ministerial code of conduct and conduct an investigation into the alleged breach of the ministerial code of conduct by Minister Roger Yench.
The government accused the parties of playing political games and says the Housing Minister has full support. Well, ongoing tensions over the state of the Launceston General Hospital's emergency department have intensified, with the nurses' union at loggerheads with the health department. The industry body won't rule out strike action over long-running safety concerns.
An emergency department feeling the pressure. Staff worked and stressed, and patients in some cases facing severe bed block.
Dealing with patients who are on ambulance stretchers, they're incredibly stretched.
These ongoing issues unresolved according to the nurses' union.
What we're not seeing at the moment is those additional resources and support being put in place to make sure that patients and also nursing staff are kept safe.
A cut to opening hours at the Mersey blamed as one of the main reasons for the congestion. Staffing ratios of 1 ED nurse to 3 patients is what it wants. Currently, it's nowhere near that.
We're talking about patients that are unstable, often undiagnosed, and really need that close clinical supervision and attention.
A further escalation in workplace grievances will see the concerns elevated to a specialist panel for mediation. The threat from the union: if the troubles fall on deaf ears, it will take the matter to the Tasmanian Industrial Commission. The deadline, only a few weeks.
Hopefully we can work in collaboration with THS to resolve members' concerns.
The government hopes it won't reach that stage.
There's an ongoing effort there, a team effort, and of course we'll give attention to that and take it seriously.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian hay fever sufferers are being urged to get tested for coronavirus, even if symptoms are mild. Public Health today revealed some people who caught the disease first believed they were suffering from hay fever. The pollen allergy can cause irritated noses, watery eyes and a cough, and without a test is hard to tell apart from COVID-19. Those tested are reminded to stay at home until they receive a result. A Risdon Vale woman found guilty of murdering her husband in 2017 has begun her appeal. Margaret Ann Otto appeared in the Supreme Court in Hobart today, with her lawyers arguing she should have been convicted with accessory after the fact. She's currently serving 15 years for the murder of tattoo artist Dwayne Doc Davies. Former friend Bradley Scott Purkis is serving 24 years for committing the shooting murder. As the warm weather returns to Tasmania, so too does the threat of deadly snakes, and one reptile catcher is expecting to receive hundreds of frantic calls for help. But he says there are a few do's and don'ts to reduce the risk at your home.
63-year-old Ian Jessup, former Jackaroo tile stripper, but his newest title?
Hi, I'm the snake wrangler.
A job not for the faint-hearted, but one in demand at this time of year.
Yeah, they're starting to come out. Thursday, a week ago, I got the first call.
This venomous 4-foot tiger snake caught this morning from a house in Greens Beach, only small in the eyes of the man who captured him.
My bucket list, I would love to catch a 6-footer and would happily pay a reward if someone can lead me to a 6-footer.
The tiger, along with the copperhead, are the state's most common snakes. To prevent them slithering around your property, the message:
keep a water supply at your boundary, so that they have a drink at your boundary and head off. And of course, not have lots of somewhere for them to hide, rubbish and things for them to hide in.
The advice from experts: if you or any of your pets are bitten by one of these snakes, stay calm and seek medical attention urgently.
Within half an hour, some dogs are unconscious or seizuring or really needing immediate assistance.
Vets say they were forced to treat close to 100 animals for snake bites at one clinic alone last year in hot, dry weather.
I think a lot of snakes were more active and they were moving around more readily to try and find water and food sources.
As for attempting to catch a serpent yourself,
absolutely not.
Best to leave it to the professionals. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
A world-renowned artist has teamed up with a Tasmanian support group teaching vision-impaired people the art of woodworking. The 6-week pilot course not only teaching workshop skills and safety, but also giving those with similar experiences a chance to connect.
In this North Hobart shed, a group of people are coming together to share a passion for woodcraft. A place where those hard at work can come to play with a twist. Over the next 6 weeks, 6 people with vision impairment will be taught the skills to create their own masterpiece, beginning with a box.
It's a good opportunity for the blind and vision impaired community to get together and learn some new skills and, you know, get to know each other a little bit better.
Their teacher, a leader in the field. Duncan Mearding has just 5% of his sight remaining, but has carved a career out in design, even teaching at a prestigious London architecture school. The expert aiming to change perceptions.
Given the right tools in terms of strategies and techniques, woodwork without sight can be just as safe.
Duncan was really good at explaining what was happening, so I felt safe. And it was exciting, it was good.
The tools and machinery tailored to suit those without sight, also aided by new technology.
83.67. My thickness planer and my table saw torque, and it means that I can get accurate measuring to about 1/10 of a millimetre.
If successful, it's hoped the program can be expanded.
Make sure that they can do it in a position where they're safe, with people that they trust. And, that's the situation that we're trying to build here.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's live events industry is pleading for increased support, saying many businesses will struggle to survive the pandemic. The sector includes those working behind the scenes in the state's entertainment sectors, concerts, festivals and conferences. Now, Tasmanians are joining in the national We Make Events Australia campaign, lighting up local landmarks red to push their cause into the spotlight.
I lost approximately 14 months of diary events of shows and festivals and events that I was doing. So completely gone, within 24 hours, completely gone. My diary was empty.
Without some support targeted towards the production houses, we won't exist in 6 to 12 months. And the confidence in our clients has dropped severely.
Buildings across the state will be lit up on Wednesday night. Despite a tough year, final preparations are now in place for Seniors Week events to kick off across the state. As part of the annual campaign, older Tasmanians will be able to ride the bus for free. The peak body says accessible transport is a key objective of the week to keep older people connected to their communities.
We've got a good amount of events happening across the state in pretty much every community in Tasmania. We've also got about 50 online events that are going to be live streamed.
Senior card holders will be offered free travel.
It's now a 2-horse race for the RACT Insurance Player of the Year in the TSL. Let's take a look at the votes from round 12. Lauderdale ruckman Sam Siggins shone in Wednesday night's drubbing of Glenorchy. Jake Hines was best on for Launceston in the side's 23-point win over Clarence. Taylor Whitford rose to the top in North Launceston's 10-goal defeat of Kingborough. And Tom Reeves was best on ground in North Hobart's narrow win over Glenorchy, Pies legend Jay Bowden polled 2. With 1 round to go and Launceston having the bye, Joby Harper is guaranteed the top gong, but will have to share it if Kieran Lovell polls 3 votes this week. And Lovell will need to do it against Lauderdale, a side which has lost star ruckman Hayden Smith for the season. The Tigers have their own deficiencies, with ex-Gold Coast son Mackenzie Willis heading back to the mainland. The Tigers still have the narrowest of windows open for a finals berth, but after a big loss to North Launceston and the departure of Mackenzie Willis, the hill is becoming steeper.
Macca's got to get back. He's got his fiancée up there and work commitments and bits and pieces like that. So, he goes with our blessing, and we're just grateful that we had him for the 6 games that we did.
Saturday's clash against Lauderdale will also see Will Poland come up against his old side again.
I think him and Tyler Carter had a really good duel when we played them down here. I think Tyler had the 8 shots on goal. So I think, Will will probably come and want to get the better of that matchup.
The Southern Bombers will be without Hayden Smith, who dislocated his ankle at KG5. He won't play again this year, but it isn't the worst outcome, according to Darren Winter.
It was really nasty and it was horrible to look at. Something that we probably thought was going to be 12 months might be a minor injury in the scheme of what we thought it was going to be.
While Glenorchy is staring down a rare wooden spoon, Jay Bowden's send-off didn't all go to script for the Pies, but Paul Kennedy is keeping it in perspective.
It's just a shame, but at the end of the day, the big picture is that
Yeah, we've had a great servant of the club and of Tasmanian footy, and yeah, it's great to have been a part of that.
And days after finishing third in the Tour de France, Richie Porte has reached Italy for cycling's Road World Championship. Porte finished 25th. France's Julian Alaphilippe crossed the line first.
Good evening. Temperatures range from -3 at Mount Wellington to our top of 19 at Friendly Beaches. Hobart and Burnie 17 today, Launceston 18 and Devonport 16 degrees. Sunny over the north and east but cloudy elsewhere. Wynyard and Bushy Park 17, Grove 16, St Helens 15, Strahan and the Bass Strait Islands 13. Now that cloud today over the west and south, mainly mid to low level. It did creep over the eastern parts later in the day. Coastal New South Wales and Queensland found some cloud cover as well. A band of cloud with thunderstorms sits over central Australia. A patch spotted over southwest WA. Tomorrow, a high centred off New South Wales extends a ridge over Tasmania. Several troughs over the centre of the country. Winds becoming north-northeasterly in the afternoon at 10 to 20 knots, lighter about the southwest, light northerlies over the central lakes and variable winds over the southwest lakes. We have a frost warning, that's for parts of the Midlands and upper Derwent Valley. So a cool start tomorrow. Looking for a mostly sunny day though for Hobart and 19, 14 for Adventure Bay, -2 overnight for Tarraleah, mostly sunny in the afternoon. 16 the high for Launceston and partly cloudy. Devonport 14 degrees, bit of cloud for Bridport but fine, and 15. 14 the high for Burnie and partly cloudy, sunny over Strahan, 17 the top and 14 for Marrawar. And for St Helens, partly cloudy, 16 the high, up to 18 for Swansea, white mark on Flinders, 16 degrees. On Wednesday, showers for the west, north and central regions, cloudy over the southeast, mainly fine over the east coast on Thursday, a few showers possible elsewhere and snow on the peaks. And on Friday, showers over the west and a 40% possibility for Hobart and Launceston. A shower developing in Perth tomorrow and Adelaide, early fog clearing from Melbourne, partly cloudy weather forecast for Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. And partly cloudy in Hobart, 10 at the moment, 13 in Launceston, clear in Devonport and 12. And over the weekend, Kim, we're expecting temperatures into the mid-20s, but with a bit of rain as well.
Sounded good. Thanks very much, Merv. And that's your news for this Monday. There'll be updates throughout the evening. For now, good night.